And one of the thing that I am using in the restorations is using the TIG and MIG and the I4 Unispot, and we had two a Mac too. But in this vehicle, I am using a TIG and a MIG. If you guys see, I make this panel too. It's making by hands, like using my imagination and dolly and hammer and building. You see, it's all complete panel, like a bend, all that, how the comes as original. I make all like how factory do. If you guys see, I'm going to show you guys how to weld properly with the TIG. In this, you see, the TIG is being welded by here. It's already TIGging all across here in this panel. So, and let's see how they look by the inside. Look how they look by the inside. You guys see how it looks? It looks clean. I don't like welding panels overlap because it keeps growing rusty behind of two panels. I'm going to give you a little show like why I did the panels. Look how the panels are. And it's welding with MIG. The guy that did before, they welding all with MIG, and then let's see what's happened when we're using MIG. When we're using MIG, you see all these things, wherever it's welding with MIG, you never can be straight the panel with dollies and hammer after weld. When you welding any panel, it stay like that. You cannot straight, you cannot dolly, because the MIG welding is so hard. The wire, it didn't let you move anywhere, even in or out. It stay like that. You had to hammer too hard, but it didn't. You see, have been welding. You see, if your welding come like this, you didn't straight this by dolly and hammer. It stay like that all the time. So therefore, I use TIG because I can dolly and hammer and make more even the panels. So these are the rusty wheels openings, and I had been replaced. So take it all, and these are the inner part. So you see, you guys can see how they overlap. So that's how I don't like to do in my restorations. In my restorations, I like to do the inner and welding all the time, but weld. On this, I'm going to show you guys the panels that I made. So I had the other side for this, but look at this panel. If you guys see, this is the other panel that I make for the right side. You see how this had been locking? I make this one. And this is the other inner wheel, how it looks. For the front fenders, I had to do the front fenders on this. The reason that I had to do these panels, well, this is not bad. The only bad part is that one. So we had to, the reason that I had to do those panels for this kind of vehicle, we are not able to buy the parts. So I had to make all these panels, therefore I had the other one. And then I had a little bed set on this side. You see, I had already tacked the panel on the position that I want it will be. So you see, this is like ready for welding. So I had to take all the weight. I use the MIG like to tack, because in this situation it's better tacking in the position wherever you want, and then welding with MIG, because with the TIG, when you weld this with the TIG, the metal it warp less, and even if they change the position, so you can dolly and hammer and straight it better. So that's therefore I like using the TIG. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of demo, like how to use the TIG properly, and then you guys can see and uh, learning a little bit how to TIG the panels. Okay, I lost my gloves, so I like to use gloves because it's there. Safety, and I don't want to burn my skin, and then therefore I like to use gloves. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys the rod that I use. Is I don't like to use thick one because it when I'm welding, the weld is too thick out, so I like to use this thin ones. Another thing that I want to show you guys, you see how really close the panel one to the other I had been put it together. So that's one of the good things. As close as you put it, the metal will not change the position much. And if you see a little here, it had a little this white space. You should not do that, or you can do, but the thing is, it takes more talent to weld. You had to, uneven for this kind of position, you better use a little bit thick wire, like to fulfill it more faster. Another reason that I use this when I had this kind of metal that close, because you can weld in without this. But the reason that I use a little bit is to let the metal go a little bit in, so it had a meat inside. To when you ground it, your metal will still inside well by the inside. So that's the reason that I had that. And of course, one of the things, you had to have a good hammer. Tools make the body man. Good tools work for you. So I got different. I have this and different kind of spoons, because on this you can tap it a little bit. For example, after weld, you do that. You see. Therefore, I had not bent it already. Because you move the metal a little bit and then that way. So let's well. A TIG. Other thing that I use is, you guys see the other videos that I did before. I use a thinner. There are different kind of tungsten. One thicker and one thinner. I use the thinner one to my flame. Will be really tiny, like not big, and so therefore I use this one. And other thing that I want to let you guys know is if you guys, because training with this is a little bit expensive, so if you guys had a torch at home, like a acetylene, you can train it with that. It's the same way. So when I in school, when I went to SAIT, there are wonderful teachers there, Harold and Derek and Rob. And those guys are wonderful. They still teaching welding with acetylene to let us at least have a little bit of knowledge, but they are not teaching to learning with stick, which is more important. So I can't believe why we as students don't get to teach how to use the acetylene, how to use the acetylene or the torch, the MIG. So I learned this in a shop because I saw the tools in our shop. Nobody used it, so I said, come on. So I started to use it, and then I like it because it is when you finish weld, it looks really good. You're able to move the metal after weld anywhere, out and in without any problem. So, and then I hope this video will be looking for the government and the Miller too, because I am practically an advertising how to use the tools. They should go to the schools and teaching the students, learning use the TIG, and then people use it more. That's one of the things. So I'm going to show you a little demo of these ones because that's okay. Not, I didn't open the the argon, therefore it got that mistake. Look. So you then come, do this a little bit. You see, over here, I want to bring more over here, as you can see a little bit the little groom but you see how they look? Really good. It didn't damage much the metal. So the next spot I'm going to do is a little bit. I weld an inch all the time. You can go straight an inch and then keep going. Easy to weld. Not that's it. Really easy, simple. I'm not using the pedal because my handle had this bottom, so I use it right there. But I can. The thing is, I think it's more practical using a handle, like use the pedal. Therefore I not use pedal. But you see how they look. So, and then if you need to move the metal out or in, you can do it. So you just need to have different tools, like put in